Listen carefully. You've been losing yourself piece by piece, carving away at your own essence just to keep others comfortable. You bend, you bow, you hide your fire, hoping for validation that never comes. That is the path of the weak. And weakness is consumed. Understand this. The world is not built on fairness. It's built on dominance. Power does not respect sacrifice. It respects strength, clarity, and control. The more you bleed to please others, the more they will demand. It never ends. You'll drain yourself empty, and when you collapse, they'll step over your body without hesitation, because people don't admire martyrs. They admire conquerors. This is where Machiavelli whispers his truth. It is better to be feared than to be loved if you cannot be both. Cold, yes. But coldness is survival. The one who controls himself controls others. The one who refuses to be chained by approval becomes untouchable. So, hear me now. Stop apologizing for existing. Stop trading your soul for scraps of praise. From this moment forward, you play the game on your terms. Comment right now. I reclaim myself. Say it, own it, become it. 2. The mask of power. You've been told your whole life to be nice, to smile, to agree, to soften your edges. But here's the brutal truth. Niceness is camouflage for weakness when it's not backed by strength. Niceness without power is submission, and submission makes you prey. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew the world doesn't revolve around kindness. It revolves around leverage. When you wear a mask, you must choose it deliberately. Not the mask of the people pleaser, not the mask of the obedient servant, but the mask of authority, the mask of cold presence, the mask that unsettles people because they cannot read you. Power is perception. If people think you are desperate for approval, you are already defeated. But if people sense you could walk away without hesitation, that you don't need them, that's when respect appears. Respect is not given. Respect is extracted through control of image. And here's the secret. The strongest men in history mastered the art of masks. They smiled when it served them, and they withheld when it didn't. They gave the illusion of warmth, but never surrendered their steel. That balance, ice beneath fire, is untouchable. So, choose your mask wisely. Smile when it opens doors, not when it chains you. Speak when silence would be costly. Withdraw when presence would weaken you. This is how you weaponize perception. Comment below. I control the mask. Let the world know you've seen behind the curtain. 3. The currency of power. Every empire, every throne, every kingdom in history has been built on one resource. Not gold, not armies, not weapons. The true currency of power is attention. Attention dictates influence. Where attention goes, energy follows. Where energy flows, control is born. But here's where most men destroy themselves. They hand out their attention like beggars tossing coins in the street. They chase people who don't respect them. They invest time in worthless battles. They bleed focus into gossip, arguments, and empty distractions. And then they wonder why they feel powerless. Machiavelli understood the psychology of rulers. He knew attention was not to be scattered, it was to be sharpened like a blade. The prince who knows where to direct his focus commands nations. The man who wastes it becomes a pawn. Look around. Every social interaction is a silent negotiation of value. When you give your time too freely, you signal you have no worth. When you beg for validation, you reveal dependence. And dependence is a leash. Dark psychology teaches us this. People respect what is withheld more than what is given. Scarcity creates desire. Control your attention and you become the prize. Lose control of it and you become invisible. So, ask yourself, where does your attention go? Do you pour it into building yourself, your mind, your body, your empire? Or do you scatter it into the abyss of distractions, into people who wouldn't bleed a drop for you? Understand this, your attention is your throne. Every second you give is a piece of your kingdom. Spend it with precision, invest it with strategy, protect it like blood, because once you learn to command your attention, you no longer chase power, you attract it. Drop a comment now. My attention is my empire. Declare it, own it, build it. 4. Cutting the chains. Most men are slaves, yet they don't even see the shackles. Chains of obligation, chains of guilt, chains forged from the opinions of others. They live every day in a cage built from fear. What will they think of me? What if they don't like me? What if I lose them? That mindset is poison. It corrodes ambition. It rots your backbone. Machiavelli knew that rulers who cling to approval are doomed. A leader who depends on being liked is already defeated because his enemies only need to turn the crowd against him. A man who depends on validation is equally doomed because anyone who withholds it controls him. That is the core of dark psychology. Whoever defines your worth owns you. If others can shame you, manipulate you, or flatter you into obedience, you're not free. You're a puppet. The solution is brutal but liberating. Cut the chains. Stop apologizing for the weight of your presence. Stop bending because someone else feels uncomfortable with your strength. Stop making your life a performance for an audience that isn't even clapping. Here's the truth. Most people don't care about you. They care about how you make them feel. That's why they demand you stay small, because your power exposes their weakness. Your ambition highlights their mediocrity, so they clip your wings and call it humility. Enough. You were not built to shrink. You were not built to serve approval. You were built to carve your path through fire and steel. Cutting the chains means embracing discomfort. It means standing alone when the crowd walks away. It means risking their disapproval to command your respect. That's where freedom lives. In the silence of independence, in the discipline of self-respect. Remember, you cannot rise if you are shackled. You cannot conquer if you are chained. And you cannot command others if you do not command yourself. The world doesn't need another slave of opinion. It needs men who stand cold, untouchable, unyielding. Men who say, I refuse the chains. Comment it now, let it echo through you. I refuse the chains. Not as words, as law. 5. The power of detachment. Attachment is the silent killer of power. It is the invisible rope around your neck, the hidden dagger pressed against your spine. Every tyrant, every manipulator, every false friend, they all exploit one thing: your need. Need makes you predictable. Need makes you controllable. Need makes you weak. Think about it. The moment you need someone's approval, they own you. The moment you need their love, their validation, their attention, you are no longer free. Your power is in their pocket. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He advised rulers to love their people only in the way that served control, never in the way that bred dependence. Because dependency is a leash, and once the leash is around your throat, it doesn't matter if it's held by a lover, a boss, or a stranger. You are not sovereign. Dark psychology teaches us the same. The one who cares less controls more. The one who can walk away owns the negotiation. The one who does not flinch at loss commands respect. This is why detachment is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. To stand in a storm, stripped of support, and still remain whole, that is untouchable power. When you reach a point where you can say, I want nothing from anyone, I command everything from myself, you become dangerous. Because no one can bribe you, no one can blackmail you, no one can threaten you with withdrawal of what you do not need. Detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means you are not owned by your feelings. It means you experience love, loyalty, passion, but you do not drown in them. You can enjoy them without being enslaved by them. You can give without losing. You can care without collapsing. Understand, attachment is the battlefield where most men fall. They sell their souls for comfort, for recognition, for a hand on their shoulder. And in that trade, they give away the only thing that ever mattered, their sovereignty. But you, if you are to walk the path of cold strength, you must build yourself until you are enough for yourself. You must be willing to walk alone in silence, without applause, without validation, and still know your worth. Because once you conquer need, you conquer the game. The man who needs nothing is the man who cannot be broken. The man who cannot be broken is the man who cannot be stopped. This is your evolution. Detach to ascend. Detach to command. Detach to become untouchable. Write it now in the comments. Etch it into your mind. I need nothing. I am everything. That is the law of detachment. That is the mark of power. 6. Mastering fear. Fear. It is the oldest weapon, the most primal chain, the force that has bent nations to their knees, kept men small, and silenced greatness before it ever had the chance to roar. Every weakness you hold, every hesitation, every compromise, every moment you betray yourself, comes back to one root: fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of standing alone. This is why most men die long before the grave ever claims them. They live as ghosts, haunted by what others might think, paralyzed by outcomes that never even happen. And in the process, they hand over their thrones, their crowns, their power, without a fight. Machiavelli stripped away the illusion when he wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Understand this. He wasn't advocating cruelty for its own sake. He was showing the psychology of control. Love is fickle, love fades, love depends on the mood of the people. But fear is consistent. Fear stabilizes authority. Fear keeps men from daring to cross you. The same law applies to your life. You don't need to make people tremble in your shadow. You need to master fear within yourself. Because until you do, you will always be chained by it. Ask yourself, what are you afraid of losing? Whose opinion keeps you silent? What outcome are you so terrified of that you would rather rot in mediocrity than test your strength against it? Fear is not your enemy, it is your teacher. The moment you run from fear, it grows. The moment you face fear, it shrinks. And the moment you master fear, it becomes your servant. Dark psychology shows us how manipulators thrive on fear. They amplify it, twist it, weaponize it against you. They know that if they can make you afraid of being abandoned, you'll crawl. If they can make you afraid of disapproval, you'll obey. If they can make you afraid of failure, you'll never try. But here's the secret they don't want you to know. Once you stare into fear without flinching, their power evaporates. They cannot manipulate what does not bend. They cannot enslave what does not tremble. They cannot control the man who has already embraced the worst outcome and still chooses to act. That is masculine stoicism. That is cold power psychology. It's not about pretending you feel nothing. It's about standing steady even as your heart races, even as your hands shake, even as the world screams against you and refusing to bow. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is domination over fear. It is looking fear in the eye and saying, "I will not kneel. You will serve me." The moment you turn fear into fuel, you become untouchable. Because the world's weapons, rejection, ridicule, loss, no longer penetrate your armor. You've already faced them. You've already accepted them. You've already learned that survival is not found in safety, but in power. This is your turning point. Stop running from fear. Chase it, break it, harness it. Because once you master fear, you master yourself. And once you master yourself, there is nothing left to master. Say it now. Claim it in the comments. Fear serves me. Let the world know you no longer serve fear. You command it. 7. The art of control. Control. That is the spine of power. Strip everything else away. Wealth, titles, influence, And what remains is control. The man who controls himself controls his environment. The man who cannot becomes a puppet of the world. Think carefully. How much of your life have you truly commanded? How often have you spoken words you didn't mean, agreed to things you despised, tolerated people who drained you, all because you lacked control? Not control over them, control over yourself. This is where most men fail. They confuse freedom with indulgence. They confuse discipline with weakness. They think saying yes to every impulse is living. But in reality, it's slavery to urges, slavery to distraction, slavery to the demands of others. Machiavelli wrote for rulers, not followers. He understood that ruling begins within. A prince who cannot govern himself, his appetites, his emotions, his impulses will be devoured by others who can. The same law applies to you. If you cannot control your reactions, people will provoke you. If you cannot control your desires, people will bait you. If you cannot control your time, people will steal it. This is dark psychology in practice. The manipulator looks for the crack in your armor, the lever that makes you move. And if you do not master yourself, they will master you. Cold stoicism is the antidote. To stand in the storm and remain unmoved. To be insulted and smile as if nothing touched you. To be tempted and walk away without hesitation. That is control. And control terrifies people because it cannot be manipulated. Understand this, every interaction is a test of leverage. Who controls the frame? Who sets the tone? Who leads the rhythm? If you react, you lose. If you chase, you lose. If you break character, you lose. The man of power dictates the tempo of the room. His silence is louder than their words. His calmness unsettles their chaos. His composure is a weapon sharper than steel. But control is not only outward, it is internal mastery. Your body, your mind, your habits. When you control your body, you move with precision. When you control your mind, you speak with clarity. When you control your habits, you build momentum unstoppable by circumstance. This is the triad of dominance: body, mind, habit. Govern them, and you will never kneel to another. Now ask yourself, where are you leaking control? Do you reach for the phone like a slave to dopamine? Do you burn hours on meaningless chatter? Do you lose yourself in anger, lust, distraction? Those are chains. Cut them. The dark truth is this: most people will never control themselves, and that is why they will forever be controlled. The crowd is easy to lead because it has no spine, but you must rise above it. You must become the man whose discipline is unshakable, whose focus is unbreakable, whose will is immovable. The art of control is the art of becoming untouchable. Because when you control yourself, you control perception. When you control perception, you control reality. And when you control reality, you hold the strings while others dance. This is not theory, it is practice. Every day you are given the choice: surrender to impulse or sharpen discipline. Every day you either command yourself or be commanded. So here is the law: control first, control always, control everything within your reach, because power begins and ends with control. Comment it now, let it imprint in your mind. I am control. I am power. Write it, own it, breathe it. Because once you embody control, you are no longer at the mercy of the world. The world is at the mercy of you. 8. The predator's mindset. Most men live like prey. They wake, they work, they eat, they sleep, waiting for permission, waiting for direction, waiting for someone else to decide their worth. They are reactive, passive, easily herded, and that is why they are devoured. The predator, however, lives by a different law. He does not wait for opportunity. He creates it. He does not ask for acceptance. He takes respect. He does not flinch at resistance. He thrives on it. This is the predator's mindset: cold, strategic, relentless, not blind aggression, not reckless violence, but calculated dominance rooted in awareness, patience, and execution. Dark psychology teaches us that the predator does not reveal all his strength at once. He watches, he studies, he learns every weakness of his prey. He knows when to strike and when to stay still. That stillness alone unsettles the herd because they sense his presence even in silence. Machiavelli would call this prudence, the ability to bide your time, to appear harmless until the precise moment when the mask drops and the blade cuts. Power is not constant motion, it is precision timing. The predator moves rarely, but when he does, the world shifts. Now look at yourself. Have you been prey or predator? Do you chase approval, like prey running from the hunter's shadow? Do you scatter your focus, like prey panicking in every direction? Or do you sit still, cold, calm, letting the world exhaust itself, knowing your strike will end the game in a single move? Understand this. The predator does not run from judgment. He does not whimper for acceptance. He knows that power attracts envy, and envy breeds enemies. Good, let them come. The predator thrives in opposition. Stoicism arms the predator with patience. Machiavellian philosophy arms him with cunning. Dark psychology arms him with leverage. Together, these forge a man who cannot be baited, cannot be herded, cannot be broken. People fear what they cannot predict. If you act like prey, always seeking approval, always explaining yourself, always justifying, you become predictable, easy to corner, easy to control. But when you adopt the predator's calm, when you refuse to be rattled, when you stop explaining, when you withhold your moves, you become dangerous. And danger commands respect. This is why most men lose. They try to be liked instead of respected. They try to be accepted instead of feared. They try to blend in instead of standing apart. But hear me clearly, no man rises by being harmless. The lion does not ask the gazelle for permission. The eagle does not negotiate with the rabbit. Predators claim their place because they dare to embody their nature. Does this mean cruelty? Number. Cruelty without purpose is weakness in disguise. The predator uses force only when necessary and only to win, because wasted energy is wasted dominance. You must learn the same art. Be calm in chaos. Be patient in waiting. Be ruthless in execution. Never let them see your hunger, only your results. The predator's mindset frees you from the prison of pleasing others, because predators do not chase approval. They inspire fear, respect, or silence. They don't need applause. Their very presence alters the atmosphere. Now ask yourself, who do you want to be? The man constantly seeking scraps of validation, or the man whose stillness unsettles the room, whose gaze alone reminds everyone that he is not to be trifled with? The choice is simple, but brutal. To step into predatorhood means shedding the skin of prey forever. No more begging, no more chasing, no more apologizing. It means building your body until it radiates strength, sharpening your mind until it slices through deception, training your will until no setback, no rejection, no loss can move you from your path. That is the predator's law. You are either feared, respected, or forgotten. Choose wisely. Now, carve it into stone with your words. Comment below, I am the predator. I do not chase, I command. Say it and mean it. Because once you embrace the predator's mindset, you are no longer in the herd. You are above it. Watching, waiting, unstoppable. 9. The fortress within. A man without defenses is a man already conquered, not by armies, not by weapons, but by the invisible invasions of opinion, manipulation, and weakness. Every empire that ever collapsed fell from the inside first. Walls were breached only after discipline rotted. And so it is with men. You are breached not by the enemy's strength, but by your own lack of fortification. This is why you must build the fortress within. Not a fragile mask of confidence that cracks under pressure, but a structure of steel, self-respect, discipline, and inner command that cannot be shaken. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler who cannot secure his fortress will not keep his throne. And in the realm of psychology, the same law rules. If others can breach your emotions at will, they own you. If flattery sways you, they own you. If insults wound you, they own you. If loss breaks you, they own you. The fortress is built by detachment. You must learn to separate what matters from what is noise. Most of the words hurled at you, praise or insult, are nothing but echoes of other people's insecurity. Why let them breach your gates? Why give them the keys to your mood? Dark psychology reminds us that manipulators feed on cracks in the wall. They probe for guilt, fear, vanity, and loneliness. They whisper words designed to open the gates from within. But the fortified man, the man who knows himself, hears their schemes as noise. He remains unmoved, and that calmness terrifies them. A fortress is not built overnight. Stone by stone, brick by brick, you reinforce it. Morning discipline, cold focus, unyielding standards. Every time you say no to weakness, another wall rises higher. Every time you resist distraction, another gate locks tighter. Every time you hold your frame when others try to provoke you, another tower stands stronger. And when the fortress is complete, you become a paradox. The world cannot touch you, yet the world is drawn to you. Why? Because people sense stability, like animals sense strength. Most men are crumbling ruins, their gates wide open. When they meet a fortress, silent, immovable, they feel awe. They feel fear. They feel respect. Do not misunderstand. A fortress is not isolation. It is sovereignty. It is the power to let people in or keep them out on your terms. It is not loneliness. It is leadership. Because the man who owns himself does not beg for company. He chooses it, and his choice makes others value him even more. Machiavelli warned against rulers who relied on external defenses, on mercenaries and allies instead of their own walls. Apply this lesson. Stop outsourcing your strength. Stop leaning on people who will abandon you. Stop relying on validation that can vanish tomorrow. Build strength that cannot be taken, discipline, knowledge, mastery of self. And when storms come, and they will, you will not collapse like the herd. You will stand, because your fortress is not made of applause. It is made of stone. Now, imagine yourself fortified. Insults bounce like arrows off iron gates. Flattery is recognized as bait. Rejection is absorbed without a flinch. And loss? Loss does not destroy you. It teaches you. Because the fortress within does not break. It adapts. It strengthens. It endures. This is why the fortress matters. Without it, you remain prey. With it, you become sovereign. And sovereignty is rare. Rare is dangerous. Rare is respected. So commit now to building your fortress. Discipline your habits. Guard your mind. Control your emotions. Sharpen your presence. Each day, lay a new brick. Each day, reinforce your gates. Each day, become less penetrable, less manipulable, less breakable. Until the day comes when nothing outside can rule you. Not people, not opinions, not fear, only you. That is the man who cannot be bent. That is the man who commands. That is the man who is untouchable. So declare it now. Write it in the comments as your oath. I am my fortress. I cannot be broken. Say it with iron in your voice. Say it as the foundation of who you are. Because when you become the fortress within, the world no longer decides your fate, you do. 10. The untouchable man. This is where it all converges. Everything you've heard until now. The rejection of weakness, the mastery of masks, the cutting of chains, the discipline of control, the predator's mindset, the fortress within, it all leads here. To one outcome, to one state of being, becoming untouchable. Understand this. Untouchable does not mean hiding from life. It does not mean isolation in fear of pain. It does not mean closing yourself off to the world. Untouchable means this: nothing external defines you, nothing external enslaves you, nothing external owns you. You are sovereign, you are complete, you are power in human form. Most men will never reach this state. They will live entire lives chained to opinion, chasing scraps of validation, consumed by fear, broken by rejection, manipulated by love, controlled by desire. They will die with their potential buried, their strength unrealized, their soul still shackled. But you are not most men. You are here, listening, because something in you refuses to kneel. Something in you knows you were built for more than servitude to the world's demands. Something in you has been clawing at the walls, desperate to break free from the prison of people-pleasing, fear, and dependence. And here is your truth. Untouchability is not given. It is forged. It is hammered in fire. It is carved from stone. It is built by discipline so relentless, by detachment so cold, by focus so sharp, that the world has no leverage left against you. The 3 laws of untouchability. Law 1, self-sufficiency. The untouchable man needs nothing from anyone. He may enjoy loyalty, he may enjoy love, he may enjoy recognition, but he does not depend on them. He owns his worth. He feeds his soul with his own strength. When others leave, he does not collapse. He remains whole. Law 2, emotional aegis. The untouchable man cannot be swayed by insult or flattery. He knows both are weapons, both are manipulations, both are mirrors of others' agendas. Praise does not intoxicate him, and hate does not wound him. He hears both, and both bounce off the walls of his fortress. Law 3, ruthless direction. The untouchable man lives by path, not by impulse. He does not drift. He does not wander aimlessly through life's distractions. He selects his target, sharpens his focus, and cuts through everything that does not serve the mission. His life is an arrow, not a feather in the wind. Follow these 3 laws, and untouchability becomes your state. What the untouchable man looks like. Picture him. He enters a room, not loud, not desperate, not frantic, but calm, and everyone notices, because calm is rare, because presence without need is magnetic. He speaks little, but when he does, people lean closer, because his words are not thrown around carelessly. They are precise, they are deliberate, they are edged with authority. He does not chase women, friends, or allies. They are drawn to him because he radiates the one thing they crave: stability. He is not fragile, not desperate, not begging to be filled. He is full already. Enemies whisper about him. They try to unsettle him. They fail. They launch insults. He smiles. They withdraw loyalty. He does not bend. They withhold validation. He does not care. They cannot move him because there is nothing left to move. This is what terrifies the world. Most people are puppets on strings of fear, desire, guilt, and need. The untouchable man has cut the strings, and when the strings are gone, he becomes a force, not a puppet. Why you must become him. The world you live in today is built on manipulation. Governments, corporations, media, even relationships, they all exploit the same weaknesses: fear of rejection, hunger for approval, desperation for belonging. If you remain touchable, you will remain controlled. If you remain controlled, you will remain weak. If you remain weak, you will never rise. But if you become untouchable, truly untouchable, you become ungovernable. No fear can cage you. No rejection can stop you. No manipulation can enslave you. You become the anomaly, the rare man who stands in a collapsing world and still does not bow. And that is why untouchability is not just a philosophy, it is survival. How to forge it? You forge untouchability in daily fire, by waking early when others sleep, by training your body when others decay, by sharpening your mind when others drown in distraction, by building habits of iron so when temptation calls, you remain unmoved. You forge it by saying no to weakness, to parasites, to time wasters, to every voice that tries to keep you small. You forge it by enduring solitude until it no longer terrifies you. You forge it by facing fear head-on until it bends to your will. You forge it by refusing to be bought, refusing to be flattered, refusing to be broken. Day after day, decision after decision, brick after brick, you build the man who cannot be touched, your oath. So now, here is your choice. Stay prey, stay touchable, stay chained by fear and approval and dependence. Or forge the fortress, take the predator's mindset, master fear, command control, detach from need, become untouchable. But understand this, once you take this path, there is no return. Because once you taste sovereignty, once you breathe the air of freedom from all chains, you will never again kneel. So speak your oath now. Comment it below so it becomes real. I am untouchable. I bow to no one. Say it, write it, live it. Because that phrase is not just a comment. It is the line in the sand between your old life and your new one. The final command. You came here searching for strength. You came here because something in you was tired of being prey. You came here because you know you were built for more. Now you have the blueprint, the mask of power, the cutting of chains, the fortress within, the predator's mindset, the laws of untouchability. This is your call to rise. Do not consume these words and do nothing. Action is the difference between the slave and the sovereign. So begin today, forge the habits, cut the chains, master the fear, build the fortress, step into the fire and carve yourself into steel. And when you are ready, when you live it, breathe it, embody it, you will be untouchable. This is Mental Fort, your sanctuary of power, philosophy, and iron mindset. If these words cut into you, if they awakened something deep, then it is time. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, so you never miss the weaponry of mind and power that will make you untouchable. Because the world will not stop trying to chain you, but here we sharpen you to break the chains. Remember your oath. I am untouchable. I bow to no one. Carry it with you into the fire of life and never kneel again.